And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Late Night Show for the website, podcast, I don't know. For the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I said, it's a website. Go there. Technically, the Late Night Show for the website was News Time. That's on a long hiatus. What has it been, like 2 years? 3 years? It'll come back at some point. If you're watching the video, you did see me drink out of a disposable coffee cup. Yes, I did, in fact, go to pick up coffee today. Because quite frankly, I did not have enough beans from both bags. I have 2 bags. Here's a little thing. I have 1 bag for the espresso machine, which has been, and now it's been a year since I went to Chattanooga to go buy that. It was a whole thing. I went to it was on Facebook Marketplace. I said, "Oh, it'll be a nice little day trip. I'll go to Chattanooga, go pick it up, and come back by like 1 or 2." It took me about 4 hours, not including the driving, because I left my wallet here, and the people refused to take Cash App or Venmo. Those fat little turds. They were fat, and they refused. I told the story on the Constitutionals, but I had to go to different stores and use my phone to pay and then get cash back. So I had to go to Whole Foods. They could only give me like $100. Then I ended up eventually at a Trader Joe's and bought like a banana. And then I would get like $50 out of my account, $50 back. And then I would buy like gum, like another banana. And eventually got up to the $500. And the woman who was selling the thing, the espresso machine, just refused to take Cash App or Venmo, which was insane. Insane. Then I drove back and it was like 3 p.m. or something like that. I left at like 9 and I got there at like 10:30. And then I spent all day doing this. I went back to the college I went to, and then anyway. So I have 2 bags of coffee. One for the espresso machine, and then one for the Chemex or the AeroPress when I don't want espresso. Typically, I have espresso before the gym twice a week on my heaviest days, my leg days, and my boxing days, which is also full body. And that's all you need to know about me. Let's get on with the stories because we got some shit to talk about. This week in late night, we had most of the shows were back with the exception of Last Week Tonight, and I guess that's the only show. Tonight's show with Jimmy Fallon came back. They had a very busy week. They spoke to people like David Corenswet, who is, I think, Superman. I am not going to see that movie, so I assume he's Superman. Louis Capaldi, who's a fantastic musician. Russell Wilson, again, something I don't watch, the cast of The Summer I Turned Pretty. And the only reason I know that, besides the title, is because I was, for my contract position, I was just about to write a story involving those people. And then I decided not to. Rachel Brosnahan, who is in Superman, correct? I just had to make sure. Clips performed. Mandal, the comedian, performed. Ronnie Chang was there. I don't know why people keep giving this man the time of day, but Dave Portnoy was there. Natasha Lyonne and Bobby Flay and Olivia Dean performed. Olivia Dean, how you doing? On Late Night with Seth Meyers, we had a couple of closer looks. Amber Says What? James Gunn was there. I'm sure he brought his wife. Nicole Scherzinger. The thing is, I don't like James Gunn. I think he's very indulgent. Too self-indulgent, excuse me. If you don't believe me, go watch Guardians of the Galaxy and go watch Peacemaker. Like, Jesus. Jack McBrayer, Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos. Tony Hawk was there as well. Emily Ratajkowski, Timothy Oliphant, who is great as always, Lee Pace, and Amy Sedaris. Also, Lee Pace was promoting Foundation, which is out next week, season 3. That is a show I'm very interested in. I watched the first episode twice, 2 separate times with over the course of I watched it once when it came out, and then as the season progressed, I said I'm going to give it another shot. I watched it again, and I just said it's so heavy. It is so dense. It is truly like when I went and saw when I saw the original Dune movie is so dense because it follows the book so closely, and you're just like it reminds me of, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm playing a new game called Metaphor Refantasio. And I swear to God, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, that second name correctly. But it is made by the people who do Persona, the Persona series. Persona 5 is, I hate ranking things. It is definitely in the top 3 games. I love Persona 5 Royal so much. I love that game so much. And let me play this game. The game Metaphor Refantasio, more or less, it just starts. It just throws you in the middle of everything, and it just asks you to go with it. And sometimes that works for shows and movies and video games, and then other times it does not. For this game, fortunately, it works. But it is just so heavy-handed. It's just like your characters can get anxiety during battle. This is Magna or Magnus or whatever. I don't have a clue what they're saying, but this is important. But also, it's also bad. The king is dying. The king is dead. The prince is still alive, but it's hiding, and he's your best friend. It's so crazy. Whereas in Pokemon, another RPG, they just kind of gingerly give you things. In Uncharted, they gingerly give you things. In Gears of War, they just kind of gingerly give you things. For Metaphor Refantasio, it's you're in or you're out. Same thing for Foundation. And I'm sure, I've never seen the show. What's the other one? First Man? No, that's a movie. I'm going to open up Apple TV. Is it just TV? Yes, it is just TV. There is another show that is so popular on Apple TV Plus that For All Mankind, that they've thrown a lot of money behind that show, and you know what? More power to them. I'm sure that show is it's an alternate history show, but I'm sure that show just eases you in or asks you to just go along with it. All right, next up, Jimmy Kimmel Live. They're back, and this is very strange. I think, okay, Chris DiStefano hosted Jimmy Kimmel Live for 2 days. I was wrong. I thought he hosted it for 1 day because I did not watch the second episode. Speaking of which, Anthony Anderson hosted last week. They should not have just, I understand their scheduling and everything, but they should have given Anthony Anderson last week. They should have given that to Chris DiStefano and Jelly Roll. I feel like Anthony Anderson, we'll talk about this in a second. I feel as though Anthony Anderson, if they were going to, we'll talk about that in a second. If ABC were going to continue doing late night, then Anthony would be the person that they give the show to. Anyway, Chris DiStefano and Jelly Roll, of all people, hosted. Chris is a very funny comedian. It made me wonder why. I think he's a very funny guy, and I think he's very capable of guest hosting this show. It made me wonder, did the audience when you have late night, when you are an audience member in late night, you've got to do, sometimes they have to do, not sometimes, late night hosts, from Johnny Carson to Letterman to Colbert, everybody has to do more or less the most basic jokes, the most broad jokes that people can get. It's like when I was working at, prior to me even graduating college, I learned in a journalism class that we have to write like everybody's in the 5th grade, because that is, people drop out of school, at elementary school, or don't go to elementary school. So you have to write like everybody's in grade school. I think it's either 3rd or 5th grade. I'm almost certain it's 5th grade. But yeah, no big words or anything like that. So anyway, I just feel that audience was not really receptive to Chris Stefano because he is he tells jokes in the same vein of a Bill Burr, of an Anthony Jeselnik. You know, he's that kind of comic. But he spoke to Hannah Waddingham, Shane Gillis, and they also had Bush on the show, who's promoting a new album, which was insane to learn. And then he also had Julie Bowen and Isaiah Hartenstein. Jelly Roll came on, and he had Jeremy Renner. And you know, when you have famous people like Jelly Roll, and no offense to another great actor who I love, Diego Luna, but it just becomes them saying something and then people clapping. So he had Jeremy Renner, Joey Badass. He also had Randy Orton interrupt an interview with, or Randy Orton's interviews gets interrupted by Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, which I did not watch because I don't like Logan Paul. Kevin James showed up and Joey Logano. It seems as though they were like, for Chris and for Jelly Roll, who would gel with them? And for Chris, it was Shane Gillis, and then they also had to have Hannah Waddingham on to talk about I don't know, Smurfs. And then they had to have Julie Bowen on to talk about Happy Gilmore, but then they also got Chris Stefano is a New York guy, so they had Isaiah Hartenstein. And then for Jelly Roll, you know, it's like, who do you like? Oh, I like Randy Orton and Logan Paul. Who do you like? I like Kevin James and Joey Logano. Okay, but we have to have the All-American Rejects and Bush on, and Jeremy Renner and Joey Badass. Okay. Moving on, we had the Daily Show. Jon Stewart was back. Kyla Scanlon was on as his guest. And then Jordan Klepper, hosted the rest of the week. And he featured people like Thomas Chatton Williams and Jennifer Caton Robinson. And then our friend Michael Costa, not my friend, had a man on the street thing about Elon's new political party, and so did Josh Johnson, our friend. He's our friend. He had a little a panel thing talking about cab drivers going to the bathroom. Reggie Watts was also interviewed, and Desi Lydic had her Emmy-nominated Fox Explained segment. Nick Offerman also popped up and did an op-ed, which is interesting to see. And then finally, the news of the week, the biggest news of the week in terms of late night. Colbert came back. He talked to people like Stephen A. Smith, that coward, Liza Collin Sayas. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. Joaquin Phoenix, Med Staltler, excuse me. And Dr. Francis Collins, Adam Schiff, Noah Cyrus performed her new album, or a song from her new album, and Anthony Kerrigan. Maverick. He's dreaming, so he's barking. Maverick. You're okay, bud. And he announced to and then Owen Wilson had a Colbert questionnaire. And then he announced to everyone's surprise, to truly everyone's surprise. I don't think a single person would have said this was going to happen. But The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Late Show in its entirety, is being canceled next year in favor of quote-unquote financial decisions, and we'll just essentially start there. This comes from Brian Steinberg over at Variety. CBS is canceling The Late Show, citing the financial decisions. The maneuver, which ends years of original late-night programming at CBS that started on the network when the network lured David Letterman from NBC in 1993, comes as the economics of wee hours TV has begun to accelerate, with media companies growing wary of high price tags involved in producing the shows, while the young viewers they try to attract watch more of them via digital video. I think that's what these people have to, these companies have to keep in mind, because there's a lot of factors figuring into why Paramount, why CBS, I'm going to say Paramount, why Paramount is canceling this show. So Taylor Tomlinson left after midnight, and there were hints that this could happen, but nobody really truly was going to think this was going to happen. Taylor Tomlinson, when she announced that she was leaving after midnight, she advocated for the network CBS to continue doing the show with a separate host. They said no. We're going to save the probably I guarantee you, if the show costs more than $5 million to produce, including everyone's salaries, with the exception of Taylor Tomlinson's, then I will be so surprised, because that After Midnight was one of the cheapest shows on television, and I'm not knocking against it, but it was probably one of the cheapest shows on television. Now, that show, they said they were going to cancel that show, and they're only going to have The Late Show. Fine. Paramount recently settled a lawsuit, an argument. I was going to say a lawsuit again that Donald Trump had against it, that they were trying to fight, and then they eventually just kind of cowered against for $16 million in regards to the 60 Minutes piece where they interviewed Kamala Harris during the election cycle, and they base what they did, and it's nothing. Everyone does this, from Fox News to NBC to your local little news station. They asked her a question on the about something. She gave a word salad of an answer, and then she gave an answer at the end of the word salad. During the promo for her interview, they put that question in there. They included the word salad part of the answer, and then that was the promo. You know, promos run 20, 30 to 60 seconds. During the actual interview that they aired, they only have a certain amount of time. They aired just the answer part of the word salad. So they cut out the part where I was like, they, and they just kept in the part where I'm giving you the part where they talked, where they added in, where Kamala Harris answered the question. That's it. Trump sued over that because he's a little bitch. And along the same lines, he sued ABC because George Stephanopoulos said something so innocuous. And now all these media conglomerates are cowering because they don't want to be sued. So he gets money from ABC. He also gets money from Paramount, $60 million. And not a single person on this planet who is in the media was happy about that, because that basically infringes on their First Amendment rights. The reason why they settled is because Paramount is trying to get bought out by Skydance. And they want to basically say, hey, we can play ball with the Trump administration because everybody he appointed that works in the FCC is in charge of this merger, or in charge of seeing if this merger can go through. By canceling The Late Show, they're again saving. The Late Show is obviously a little bit more prominent compared to After Midnight. So they are, again, saving maybe $20 million in terms of this. And if that's how much money that show costs, then again, come on, what's going on? If it's $20 million, that's insane. But they're saving, X amount of money just so they can say, hey, we are a lean company, and now you can buy us. Sherry Redstone, you have billions of dollars. I don't understand why this is even happening. So now the Late Show is gone. As of May 2026, they're calling it a purely financial decision. Here's a quote that CBS executive said in a statement. "We are proud that Stephen called CBS home. He and the broadcast will be remembered in the pantheon of greats that grace late night television. This is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. It is not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount." Now, keep in mind, this show, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, was nominated for an Emmy just this year, recently, like even this week, I think it was Tuesday, they were nominated for an Emmy. And it's fascinating to me that I just can't believe that Paramount, well now I can, that Paramount would do this for against a show that has brought them so much attention. This late show is the highest rated late night show of traditional late night shows. If you Gutfeld technically is rated higher, but that's on Fox News and it's not really considered, fighting in the same ring. It's like fighting in the same ring as late night shows. It's like if somebody was said, and this is not a knock against instant coffee, but if somebody was like, hey, I'm going to go to local coffee shop down the street. They have great coffee. People love them. They 5 stars on Google and Yelp and all that stuff. I'm going to make some instant coffee at home. That's two different things. Yes, it's technically coffee, but it's not, it's not fresh beans from that were buried in poop and ground it in front of me. Colbert was only informed of this on Wednesday evening, so color everybody surprised when he reshot a cold open and said, "Hey, we're being canceled." It's such a stupid decision, and no one's happy. Kimmel spoke out about it. Everybody else spoke out about it earlier this week. Like not even like a day before that. Jon Stewart hosted his podcast, and he said he wouldn't be surprised if The Daily Show was canceled. You have two of which was also nominated for an Emmy this year. You have two of the highest rated late night shows, not even just on television, but when you look at the clips online and that are shared and everything, and you're just throwing it away. If I were Skydance, I would have fight for this. If I was Paramount, I wouldn't have even done this. I don't understand what you're getting out of this when you get rid of people and things. When 60 Minutes is essentially turned into a nothing show because the head people leave. And you still haven't put somebody in charge, and you just have an interim person in charge, and you're willing to just settle such stupid, inane news stories, arguments. And then you have so many different versions of the Big Bang Theory spinoffs. You refuse to campaign great actors in shows for Emmys, such as Utkarsh Ambikar for Ghosts. I'm mad that he's not nominated. I just don't understand what you want. Your movies aren't performing well at the box office, and I love Mission Impossible. I think Final Reckoning was so good. I would go see it today. Hell, if it was on sale on Vudu, I would buy it. But you're doing this to yourself. You are shooting yourself in the foot, Paramount. I just don't get this. You're nominated for Emmys. You were literally Emmy nominated. Oh my goodness. Now this makes me think, as soon as I saw that, first of all, I was very sad. That made me so very, very sad. And I don't even watch every episode of Colbert. But now that makes me think, when Kimmel's contract is up, ABC could easily just say, hey, we're done with late night. The same thing could happen with Seth. The same thing could happen with Fallon. And I feel as though Last Week Tonight could go at any point, because David Zaslav doesn't. And this is just me saying this, but because David Zaslav doesn't care But when you have shows like Last Week Tonight, and we have shows that are nominated, like crazy, like Last Week Tonight, and we have shows that are easily shareable, like The Tonight Show, why not play into that? Yes, the landscape has changed. Things have changed. We know this. That's not the pertinent part. The thing is, you have to change with the time and share things along, because now we're just in a couple of years, when late night is done, we're just going to be stuck with these hosts doing podcasts. And God, I love Conan, but man, I hate listening to that podcast. That podcast is so stupid. And everybody has one. So what's the point? And the thing is, just because Conan's making millions of dollars on his podcast doesn't mean that Paramount can now just say, let's give this person a late night style podcast where they talk one-on-one and it's going to make millions of dollars. Because no, that's not how it happens. We don't have, it's unstabilized, and late night is on its way out. Late night's on its way out. I don't see this continuing in the next few years. Even if I didn't watch every episode of Colbert, this stinks for the medium as a whole. Again, as I mentioned, Seth Meyers lost out on the. Actually, I don't even know if I mentioned this. They shrank the Television Academy shrank the nomination size for the Emmys down to 3, from 5 to 3, or I think it was from 4 to 3, one of those. So that means Seth Meyers missed out on an Emmy nomination. Colbert, Kimmel, and The Daily Show are all nominated, which means Hot Ones did not get nominated, which it should never be. Why? And then Everybody's Live with John Mulaney also missed out. But Seth was nominated in in a different category for short form for corrections. So we hope he wins that. Oh, Andy Cohen commented on the cancellation of Colbert's show. On Watch What Happens Live. And you know what? He's always wanted to be a part of the late night crowd, so why not? Cohen said, I can't believe CBS is turning off the lights at 11:30 after local news. I'm stunned. He's one of 3 late night shows deemed worthy enough for an Emmy nomination. He produced a brilliant show. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. His show has renewed through 2027, but, his show is so singular, focused on, essentially, yes, it is pop culture, but mostly Real Housewives stuff. It's flabbergasting to see them do this. That's just, an entire genre is going to go away. I was thinking about this yesterday, even prior to seeing this news. I submitted a packet to that show. Did not get it. I also submitted a packet to Tuning Out the News. Did not get it. Oh my God. Wait, what's Jimmy Fallon's? Jimmy was nominated for something. Oh, during the commercial break. Interesting. He has something on his YouTube channel too. And if I'm correct, I also think that for the short form Emmy category, Kimmel was nominated for his thing as well. Let's see, short form Emmy nominations 2025. The Rabbit Hole and Desi Lydics Fox Explains. It's just a sad day for late night, and nothing will change. There'll always be some sort of attempt to reboot late night, but it's just going to go to podcasts, and that really stinks. On Ronnie Chang's interview with Fallon on Tonight Show, he came out and the first thing he said was something along the lines of, "Thank you for having this show. I just got done doing all these podcasts, and podcasts stink. That's what they're trying to make late night podcasts. It's just some dude in his basement without a shirt on, and there's like Cheeto dust everywhere." And I just thought that's so funny because it's true. Okay, I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people all the time. If you want to see a video version of this show, a video version of the other podcasts, as well as a video version of me talking to famous people, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. The other podcasts include The Constitutionals, which is the entertainment business news podcast, and LinkedIn Logs, the jobs podcast, and The Interviews, where I talk to famous people. Subscribe to those shows where you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram @C+Comedy, me @ChadBlackWhite. See you next time. Bye.